Hi, I'm Mackenzie Lavalle, and I'm here today to speak about the Ramones. I remember the first time I ever heard the Ramones. It was the mid-1980s, and National Lampoon's Vacation was on cable. Blitzkrieg Bop greeted my ears with an oi-oh, let's go, as I watched the Griswold family speed down the highway. The song was high energy and very catchy. I did not know at the time that the Ramones would become one of my favorite bands, nor was I aware of their influence on rock and roll in the U.S. and the world. With the passing of the last surviving member of the original Ramones in July of this year, I pause to reflect on their contribution to American music. The Ramones are a pillar of punk rock history. First, they were pioneers of punk in the U.S. Second, their sound is known worldwide. And third, they have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Ramones are synonymous with punk music. Punk is defined as a loud, fast-moving, and aggressive form of rock and roll popular in the late 70s and early 80s. My first point, they were pioneers of punk in the U.S. According to Rolling Stone magazine, the Ramones formed when four friends graduated from the same high school in 1974 in Forest Hills, New York. The original members were Dee Dee, Johnny, Joey, and Tommy. The name of the band was inspired by Sir Paul McCartney, who briefly went by the name Paul Ramone before the Beatles became the Beatles. They were drawn to the burgeoning scene at CBGB, the club that gave birth to the punk scene located in New York City. It was there that their trademark sound was first heard, and the Ramones were one of the first in their genre to be signed to a recording contract by Sire Records in 1975. In an article in Forbes magazine by Bobby Owinski, who had worked with the band, he stated, "I hate to admit that I never was a big Ramones fan while they were at their peak. I shared a stage with them a few times and experienced their bandstand fury up close, which eventually led to a growing appreciation and admiration for the singular journey through the music business, as they chose to stay the course of their vision at the expense of major commercial success. The band didn't believe in solos. They kept their songs as short as possible, and their style of black leather jackets, black tees, black hair, and jeans set the standard for punk in the U.S. They were pioneers of punk in the U.S. The Ramones introduced New York to the punk sound. It didn't take long for their music to make its international debut. My second point, their sound is known worldwide. Stephen Erlewine, American music critic and senior editor at AllMusic.com, writes that in 1976, their first album, Ramones, debuted in the U.S., and in that summer, they made their international debut, an appearance in Britain, where their music was already influencing a new generation of musicians. Their second album became a solid hit in England in 1977, and soon the Ramones were one of two key bands, along with the British band the Sex Pistols, in the punk rock movement. Their music has been featured in movie soundtracks, and they even had a movie called Rock and Roll High School that is about and features their music. The Ramones Museum, an impressive source for everything and anything Ramones, is located in Berlin, Germany. It was started by a superfan who first saw the band live in 1990. After years of attending shows and collecting memorabilia, he opened the museum dedicated to the Ramones and music in general. It contains posters, pictures, albums, ticket stubs, and t-shirts. And it is a place where fans from all over the world can share their stories. Their sound is known worldwide. The Ramones were integral to the spread of punk music around the world. It is no surprise that their talent was something to be recognized and celebrated. My third point, they have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rolling Stone informs that when Joey died in 2001, U.S. Congress named March 19th Joey Ramone Day. In March of 2002, the surviving members of the Ramones attended their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dee Dee jokingly thanked only himself, while Johnny said God bless America and God bless George W. Bush. Green Day paid tribute to the band, playing Blitzkrieg Bop and Teenage Lobotomy, proving that the Ramones were still influencing music decades after their beginning in Queens. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website pays tribute by saying, "History, it seems, has finally caught up with the Ramones. They are now hailed as one of the most influential American bands, and their music reaches more ears today than it did during those hard-working years when they were loudly going about the revolutionary business of reinventing rock and roll." They have been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and this has ensured that their music will be immortalized not just in the hearts of their fans, but in music history. A piece of American music history is now just that, history. The music world mourns the loss of one of the most well-known bands in punk rock history. Joey died in 2001, Dee Dee in 2002, Johnny in 2004, and Tommy in 2014. While the band is no longer with us, their influence on the rock scene will continue long into the future. It wasn't just the music in the Ramones. It was an idea. It was bringing back a whole feel that was missing in rock music. It was a whole push outwards to say something new and different. Originally, it was just an artistic type of thing. Finally, I felt it was something that was good enough for everybody. Tommy Ramone, 1978. The Ramones are and forever will be a pillar of punk rock history. First, they were pioneers of punk in the U.S. Second, their sound is known worldwide. And third, they have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Gabba Gabba Hey, thank you very much.